in a first among Christians, young men are more religious than young women. And so I want to ask you about why do you think, and Charlie has made some great points, that we have so many, and you saw it firsthand, we have so many young women that are coming along to this stuff. But it's undeniable that young men are seemingly getting this earlier. Yeah. And I think the women are going to catch up.
I think they are, actually. But this is true.
What is behind this? And do you address it in your book? Why is the America First movement resonating with these young men? Why is God, religion, purpose, all this stuff hitting them first?
Look, I think young men have been told to shut up, sit down, do as you're told for a really long time, to apologize for who we are, apologize for masculinity.
I think you're right.
I say this not only as a, not young anymore, but relatively young man myself. I'm a father of two sons. I think about this a lot in terms of what country and what world we're raising those two boys into. And I think that right now, in a certain sense, I mean, what is think about Christ's teachings. Think about most world religions are the same way, to welcome you if you've been rejected. No. Here's your actual purpose. Don't let somebody else define you. And a lot of young men, I think, as a consequence of being told that their masculinity is toxic, that they have to apologize or hide who they are, or that we have to somehow pretend that everything is exactly biologically the same between men and women, which, by the way, is one of the foundations of the trans movement anyway. All these things are linked. I think are now looking for alternatives. And so that's part of, I think it's a good trend. And I do think that we're now seeing that trickle over a little bit to younger women as well. So I don't think it's going to stay with young men. I
totally agree.
But I think young men are starting that pendulum swinging back, which is going to be good for our culture. And you know what? It's funny we're able to say this because any normal media, if you're talking about the difference between men and women, if you're not saying something negative about the men, it's not going to get the airtime. Here, I think it's actually a good trend started by young men that I think is going to have a positive impact on all young people, and I'm proud of that.
Do you have a thought there?
I would say that the trend I've seen is that if you're going to talk about genders at all, you have to sort of go over the top and be so complimentary about how empowered women are. And you have to so overdo it on one side, and then either you say, well, men are important too, and it's kind of a throwaway thought, or men obviously have toxic masculinity and they've been a part of the problem.
And here's my view on this is just, I'm interested in moving forward as a country foremost. Totally. And so I think you're totally right about that. But here's a way we can just peaceably move forward is, okay, well, they would say there was historical inequality and whatever else. Okay, now we did the counter-revolt thing. Okay, so now we're done. Like, we did it.
And how's that working out for you?
We already did. It hasn't worked out so great, but we already did it. If you needed to check that box is checked. Now let's just move forward.
Well, and by the way,
the self-flogging culture.
If all this empowerment for young women, why does every single poll, research study indicate that they are more anxiety-riddled, they're taking more antidepressants, they're more nervous, they're more
because
unsure.
Women are not better off in a world in which men are also taught to hide who they are
and to degrade men.
And to degrade them and to teach them to be more insecure. Everyone is worse off. But this article, First Among Christians, I love this, that young men are actually leading the pendulum swing. I want to bring everybody along and not necessarily, I'm not rooting for that gender divide to persist. What I'm rooting for is actually just a bleeding edge to close that in a different direction for all young people.
I agree.